There comes a moment in every life when the noise of the world must fall silent, and the soul leans forward to listen to its own truth. This is that moment, not tomorrow, not someday, not when the fear fades, but now. One goal, chosen with courage, one focus, guarded with devotion, because scattered energy weakens the spirit, but a focused heart becomes unstoppable. You were not born to chase everything. You were born to commit to something that sets your spirit on fire. As 2026 stands before you like an unopened door, understand this. Winning is not luck, it is alignment. When your purpose and your effort walk hand in hand, victory has no choice but to recognize your name. When your heart chooses one true goal, something sacred happens inside you. The confusion that once pulled you in every direction begins to loosen its grip. You stop waking up unsure of where to place your energy because your spirit already knows. One goal does not limit you, it liberates you. It tells your mornings where to begin and your nights where to rest. It gives your days a spine to stand on. Life no longer feels like a series of random steps. It becomes a deliberate walk towards something that matters deeply to you. For too long, many of us have been taught that wanting many things at once is ambition. But ambition without direction becomes exhaustion. A single goal gathers your scattered strength and turns it into power. It allows you to say, "This is what I am building," even when the world questions your pace. With one goal, your effort stops leaking into doubt, comparison, and hesitation. It starts flowing forward, steady and strong, like a river that finally found its course. Choosing one goal also asks you to be honest with yourself. Not every dream deserves your lifetime, but the right one deserves your loyalty. When you choose it, you are choosing to trust your inner voice over outside noise. You are choosing depth over distraction, and in that choice, your confidence grows. Not because the path is easy, but because it is clear. Clarity is a quiet kind of courage. It does not shout, but it endures. There will be days when progress feels invisible, when effort feels heavier than reward. On those days, your one goal becomes your anchor. It reminds you why you began when the results are slow to arrive. Wandering people quit when things get hard. Purposeful people pause, breathe, and continue. Purpose teaches patience. It teaches you that every small step, taken faithfully, is shaping a future you cannot yet see. As 2026 approaches, understand that winning is not about speed or perfection. It is about alignment. When your thoughts, habits, and choices move in the same direction, momentum is born. You stop fighting yourself. You stop starting over. You begin to grow roots where you once kept pulling yourself up to replant elsewhere. Growth requires staying long enough for strength to develop. One goal gives your life direction, but it also gives your struggles meaning. You no longer suffer aimlessly, you endure intentionally. And that makes all the difference, because a life with direction does not promise comfort, it promises significance. When you choose one goal and walk toward it with focus and faith, you are not just chasing success, you are becoming the kind of person who knows where they are going, and that, in any year, is already a victory. Focus is not something you find, it is something you choose again and again, especially when it would be easier not to. In a world that constantly pulls at your attention, choosing to focus is a quiet declaration of worth. It is you standing in your own life and saying, "What I am building matters." Every time you return your attention to your goal, you affirm that your dream is not a hobby, not a passing thought, but a responsibility you honor. To focus is to respect your own time. Your hours are not endless, and your energy is not renewable without care. When you scatter yourself across too many directions, you teach your life that nothing deserves your best. But when you focus, you protect your time like something precious, because it is. Focus is how you stop spending your days reacting and start investing them. It transforms effort from chaos into intention. There will always be noise. There will always be opinions, comparisons, and opportunities that look attractive but lead nowhere meaningful. Focus is how you decide what not to carry. It is learning that you do not need to respond to everything that calls your name. Some things are not distractions because they are bad, but because they are not aligned. Self-respect is knowing the difference and walking away without apology. When you focus, you also change your relationship with progress. You stop measuring yourself against others and start measuring yourself against your own commitment. Small, consistent actions begin to matter more than dramatic starts. Focus teaches you patience because it shows you that real growth happens quietly. It is built in repetition, in showing up when no one is watching, in choosing the work even when the excitement fades. There will be moments when your focus wavers, when fatigue makes distractions feel comforting. This does not mean you are weak. It means you are human. Self-respect is not perfection. It is return. It is the ability to notice when you have drifted and gently guide yourself back. Each return strengthens your discipline, and discipline, over time, becomes self-trust. You begin to believe in yourself because you have evidence. You stay. As your focus deepens, so does your confidence. Not the loud kind that seeks validation, but the steady kind that knows its direction. You stop needing approval because you are already aligned. Focus simplifies your decisions. It brings peace to your mind, not because life becomes easier, but because you are no longer divided within yourself. This is how winning is built, not through constant motion, but through intentional attention. When you give your full focus to one goal, you are telling the future that you are serious. You are telling yourself that your dreams deserve protection, consistency, and care. Focus is self-respect in motion. And when you respect yourself enough to stay focused, the path forward begins to open, slowly, steadily, unmistakably. Discipline is often misunderstood as punishment, as something harsh or restrictive. But in truth, discipline is one of the most gentle forms of love you will ever practice. It is the way you show up for yourself when no one is watching. It is choosing what serves your future over what comforts your present. Each small, repeated effort is not an obligation forced upon you. It is a promise whispered from who you are today to who you are becoming. Love is not proven in grand moments alone. Love is proven in consistency. Discipline lives in the ordinary hours, in waking up when you would rather stay still, in continuing when motivation has quietly left the room. It is in these moments that discipline speaks and says, I care enough about you to keep going. When you honor your routine, your work, your commitments, you are not being strict, you are being faithful. There will be days when discipline feels invisible, when effort does not immediately turn into results. These are the days when love matters most. Anyone can work when rewards are loud and instant. Discipline shows up when progress is silent. It trusts that growth is happening beneath the surface, forming strength long before success becomes visible. This kind of patience is not weakness, it is devotion. Discipline also teaches you dignity. It reminds you that your life is not ruled by impulse or mood. You begin to understand that feelings come and go, but commitment remains. Some days you will feel inspired, other days uncertain or tired. Yet discipline allows you to continue without needing permission from motivation. It gives you stability when emotions fluctuate. It becomes the steady ground beneath your feet. When you practice discipline, you begin to trust yourself more deeply. Trust is built through kept promises, not intentions. Every time you do what you said you would do, even in a small way, your confidence grows. You stop doubting your ability to follow through. You start believing that you can rely on yourself. This self-trust becomes a quiet strength that carries you through challenges others abandon. Discipline does not demand perfection. It understands human limits. It allows rest without guilt and correction without shame. Love in action knows when to push and when to pause. What matters is return, the willingness to come back to your path even after setbacks. Discipline does not ask you to never fall, it asks you to rise with responsibility. As time passes, discipline shapes your identity. You are no longer someone who hopes, you become someone who does. Your habits begin to reflect your values. Your days align with your goals. What once felt heavy becomes natural, even empowering. Discipline turns effort into character, and character into destiny. This is how winning is prepared long before it arrives, quietly, patiently, lovingly. Every disciplined choice is a message sent forward in time. I did not abandon you. I worked for you. I believed in you. And when the moment of victory finally comes, it will not surprise you, because discipline has been loving you there all along. Every life is filled with voices competing for attention. Some arrive loudly, others quietly, dressed as opportunity, urgency, or comfort. But destiny is delicate. It does not survive constant interruption. Just because something demands your attention does not mean it deserves your devotion. Learning this truth is one of the most important acts of maturity you will ever practice. Your future depends not only on what you pursue, but on what you refuse to chase. Distractions are rarely obvious enemies. They often come disguised as harmless habits, pleasing routines, or people who mean well but pull you away from your path. They do not announce themselves as obstacles. Instead, they whisper, "Just this once," or "You can start tomorrow." Over time, these whispers grow louder, and before you realize it, your days are full, but your life feels empty. Busy does not mean meaningful. Movement does not always mean progress. Destiny requires presence. It asks for your full attention, your patience, your willingness to stay with the work, even when it becomes repetitive or uncomfortable. Distractions break this presence. They fragment your energy until nothing receives your best. You begin many things but complete few. You feel tired without knowing why. This exhaustion is not from effort, it is from being pulled apart. There is power in learning to pause before responding. Not every message needs an answer. Not every invitation needs acceptance. Not every trend needs participation. When you begin to choose deliberately, you reclaim ownership of your time. Time is not just hours on a clock, it is the raw material of your life. How you spend it determines who you become. Guarding it is not selfish, it is necessary. Saying no can feel uncomfortable at first. You may fear disappointing others or missing out. But each no strengthens your yes. Every boundary you set clears space for your purpose to breathe. Over time, you begin to notice a change. Your thoughts become clearer. Your actions become intentional. You feel less rushed and more rooted. Peace begins to replace pressure. Distractions also test your self-belief. When you doubt yourself, distractions feel safer than commitment. They offer temporary relief from the fear of failure or the responsibility of success. But avoiding your calling does not protect you. It delays you. Destiny does not demand perfection. It demands honesty. It asks you to show up as you are and grow as you go. As you move forward, understand this. Focus is not about controlling the world, but about choosing yourself. It is choosing the long road over the easy escape. It is choosing depth over noise. The world will continue to call your name, but you decide which voice you answer. Destiny speaks softly, often without urgency, but it is steady and true. When you learn to recognize distractions for what they are, you stop resenting them. You simply let them pass. And in that space, quiet, intentional, protected, your future begins to take shape, not hurried, not forced, but guided by clarity, commitment, and the courage to stay focused on what truly matters. There is a kind of strength that does not announce itself. It does not arrive with applause or recognition. It grows quietly, in repetition, in the ordinary moments that look insignificant from the outside. Consistency is the art of showing up even when nothing seems to be happening. It is trusting the process when the evidence has not yet caught up with your effort. Long before victory appears, something powerful is being shaped within you. Most people look for signs that they are winning before they commit fully. Consistent people commit first and let the signs follow. They understand that progress often moves underground before it rises into view. Like roots growing beneath the soil, strength forms in places no one sees. Every day you choose to continue, you are reinforcing those roots. You are becoming stable, grounded, and unshakable in ways that cannot be rushed. Consistency teaches you patience with yourself. It frees you from the pressure of instant results and replaces it with faith in gradual growth. You stop asking, "Is this working?" every few days and start saying, "I am becoming." That shift changes everything. You learn that transformation is not dramatic, it is deliberate. It happens in quiet rooms, early mornings, late nights, and moments when quitting would be easier than continuing. There will be times when your effort feels unnoticed and your progress feels slow. These moments can test your belief more than any failure. But consistency reminds you that visibility is not the same as value. Just because others cannot see your growth does not mean it is not real. Strength gained in silence lasts longer because it is not dependent on praise. It belongs entirely to you. When you are consistent, you stop relying on mood. You understand that inspiration is a guest, but commitment is a resident. Some days you will feel strong, other days uncertain, but consistency gives you direction even when emotions fluctuate. It allows you to move forward without negotiating with doubt every step of the way. Over time, what once required effort begins to feel natural. Discipline turns into habit, and habit turns into identity. Consistency also builds resilience. Each time you return after a setback, you prove to yourself that interruption is not the end. Life will pause you, challenge you, and sometimes knock you off course, but consistency is your ability to resume, not perfectly, not dramatically, just honestly. That willingness to continue is where real power lives. As days turn into months, you may suddenly realize that you are stronger than before. Not because of one defining moment, but because of many ordinary choices stacked together. You think more clearly. You trust yourself more deeply. You no longer fear slow progress because you understand its purpose. Consistency has been shaping you quietly, preparing you to hold what you are working toward. And when victory finally appears, it will not feel accidental. It will feel familiar. Because long before the world noticed, you were already winning in silence, in persistence, in the steady courage to keep going when nothing was guaranteed except your commitment to continue. There is a heavy lie many people carry without realizing it: the belief that their past is standing in the way of their future. Old mistakes, missed chances, painful memories, and former versions of themselves begin to feel like permanent barriers. But the truth is gentler and far more powerful. Your past is a chapter, not a verdict. It may explain parts of you, but it does not define the limits of what you can become. What happened before does not have the authority to cancel what is meant for you now. Growth is not linear, and life does not reward only those who never stumbled. Often, purpose is born from broken places. The very experiences that once wounded you may have taught you compassion, resilience, and depth. You are not late to your life. You are arriving with wisdom you did not have before. Holding on to the past can feel familiar, even comforting, because it is known. But familiarity is not the same as truth. When you keep replaying what went wrong, you keep your spirit anchored to a time that no longer exists. Purpose lives in the present moment. It asks you to stand where you are now, with what you know now, and move forward without dragging yesterday behind you. There is courage in allowing yourself to change, to admit that who you were is not who you must remain. Some people fear growth because it requires letting go of old identities, roles shaped by pain, failure, or survival. But you were never meant to stay where you learned to endure. You were meant to rise from it. Healing does not erase the past. It repositions it so it no longer controls you. Your purpose does not argue with your past. It does not compete for attention. It waits patiently, knowing that one day you will be ready to listen. When you stop punishing yourself for what you did not know back then, you free up energy for what you are capable of now. Self-forgiveness is not weakness, it is clarity. It allows you to walk forward without shame weighing down your steps. There will be moments when memories resurface, trying to convince you that you are unqualified or undeserving. In those moments, remember this: growth does not require permission from your past. You are allowed to want more. You are allowed to do better. You are allowed to become someone new. The future is not asking you to be perfect. It is asking you to be present. When you shift your focus from regret to responsibility, something changes inside you. Responsibility says, I cannot change what was, but I can shape what is. That decision is powerful. It turns reflection into wisdom instead of self-judgment. It transforms pain into purpose. As you move forward, carry your past lightly. Take the lessons, release the weight. Let your experiences inform you, not imprison you. What is meant for you will not be blocked by who you once were. Purpose recognizes readiness, not history. And when you finally step fully into the life you are building, you will understand this deeply. The past never stood in your way. You were simply preparing to walk beyond it.